All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, but you don't know what you're tuning in for yet, do you? What are they tuning in for right now, Mazer?
Well, what they're tuning into is two really, really intellectual guys
Oh,
talking
God.
about talking about life, like they need another perspective, like they don't already have too much information flying around on social media. But anyhow,
True.
we're gonna jump on this bandwagon, and we're gonna start talking about life and what life has been like for us, and just offer our opinions and point of views, and for anyone
Advice,
who's
even.
interested, yeah, even advice for anyone who's interested in hearing two very attractive, intellectual,
Sexy. Oh, wait. Those
sexy,
are synonyms, right?
badass. Can I say?
Yeah. Well, I'll just bleep it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure.
It'll be fine. Yeah, no, that's a perfect way to summarize this. Okay, so my name is Andrew. Well, a lot of people call me Drew though. As a nickname and knowing me. I am reigning from Cleveland, Ohio. All right, and I am I am employed or attemptively employed as a media specialist right now. So that's been keeping me busy. And then on the side, I like my main projects that I do, like my artistic kind of projects, I deal with music. I'm in a band called the Screaming Eagles. We do rock and roll. We're releasing a record very soon on December 13th. And I put a lot of my blood, sweat, and tears and other bodily fluids into that project because it means a lot to me. So yeah, and that's the one thing about Mazer and I actually. We both come from an artistic background, wouldn't you say?
I would say so. Yes, we actually we went to the same college. We both attended the Cleveland Institute of Art, and that's actually where we met.
We survived the Cleveland Institute of Art. That's a
Yes,
better way of saying
we
it.
most definitely survived the 4 years that were rather difficult. But I mean, it's any college student's life story, if you will.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a tough time. So, but my name is Mazer, and people usually call me Maz or Maserati as a
Or
nickname.
sexy if you're me.
Yeah, or sexy if you're Andrew, who's engaged to me. I think his girlfriend
Yeah.
knows that.
Well, we got to tell him about that story too.
Oh yeah. So let's just clarify. But we're not actually gay or partners in any sense of the word. We're just
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
there's nothing
We're
wrong
cool
with
with
that.
that.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. No, we support everything. Really, we support each other's because we're about to have ED pretty soon.
You know, he's not wrong. He's really not wrong.
Yeah.
No, we're like, well, we talked about the name of this podcast even being called Bromo Sapiens because, that's essentially what we are. It's basically a bromance that started in college that never let down. And I proposed to him on the last, when we graduated. And there's a picture.
On the day of graduation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture on our Instagram of that if anybody's curious of seeing that. We've talked about at some point throwing together like a wedding reception, inviting a bunch of people that knew us from college, and doing that just to see if just to like freak people out, or not freak people out, but like surprise them, be like, oh my God,
Throw them in for a loop, basically. Yeah. Have them on their toes. In fact, we went as far as to adopt an imaginary child from Russia
Oh yeah.
named Mikhail. So we're both just living our best life. We've got a child, two guys,
Two
fathers, raising a child, showing them the ways of the world, the way we see it.
I mean, that's the only thing you can do, right? I mean, I don't know a damn thing about being a parent, but I'd imagine that teaching is definitely one of the important sorts of things that you have to do.
I'd say that's one thing, and the other thing I'd say is living. Like, you have to live and let your child watch you live.
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
Like there's so many parents that shelter their children,
Oh yeah.
And I'd say, you know what? Screw all that. Live your life. Live your life honestly and live your life well and let your child see it and they'll grow up to do the same. Hopefully they'll turn into a good human being if you're a good human being, but that's another rabbit hole that we're going to get into one of these days.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's you only learn through experiences. So yeah, no, this, I think, I don't know. I think just, I don't know if I can speak about that. All right, let's just move on.
No, actually, I think you should say it.
Okay, well,
Well,
I don't know,
unless if you're not, I don't know what you're going to say.
well, no, I mean, I'm comfortable with saying it. It's just, I don't, it's like, because, I'm also thinking about this in the terms of mine, since I don't know how to be a parent or whatever. I don't want to necessarily judge or come out and say something against, like, parents, because I feel like the big thing about parenting is a lot of people don't know what to do. I mean, and that's okay. It's just, I mean, because I mean, if you, I think it just kind of goes to show when you look and see how certain youths have turned out within, whatever culture that you're in. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that a lot of a lot of parents don't know what they're doing at all, because otherwise I feel like their children would turn out a little bit better. But yeah, I also think people kind of approach this sort of thing almost too seriously. I mean, yes, you are raising a human being, which is a very, very large something. But I think that I don't know. I just think that certain things need to be a little bit lax, because I think a lot of people don't realize how much of what they do will affect the child in the future. Because I mean, you and I both have met some screwed up, sons of guns. Like we,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, going to an art school, you meet all sorts of crazy people. But like, but I mean, I guess just going to school, you meet crazy people in general. Living life, you do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, the two of us have met a lot of people in and out of art school. In fact, I've met some of the most interesting people out of art school than I have. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because it's probably not true. I met pretty crazy and interesting in the sense that unique people. I met a lot
Right.
in art school, and then coming out of art school, I continue to meet a lot of people and make new connections. And your life really kind of just starts when you go to college, and then when you come out of it, you're pretty much in the deep end at that point. Because, and I guess that's probably a good segue into our first conversation. What life has been like for the both of us, and where the trajectory we've taken since graduation, since we got engaged.
Oh, what a beautiful engagement it's
Oh
been.
man, it was perfect. You just
You're on
you know.
one side of the country and I'm on the other.
Oh yeah, I don't think I told the people here yet, but yeah, I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah.
chiming in from the Bay Area, so there's a little bit of perspective on how far we drifted as far as distance goes. But the bromance is strong.
Oh,
We
very strong.
we keep in touch through memes. That's our love
We keep in
language.
thrust, I think you mean,
We
but yes,
yeah
we do.
yeah we keep it was a Freudian slip. I don't know if I could say it, but
No, what was the one thing that the one thing you always said back in college was, I've got no problem trusting people. It's thrusting.
that's right.
I've got thrust issues.
I've got thrust issues. Yes.
He's like, yeah, it was, no, I've got thrust issues. I've got no problem trusting people. Oh, classic
Yeah,
Mazda
that's
moment.
that's a toxic trait. That's a toxic trait. Most people have no problems thrusting. They have problems trusting.
Right.
Whereas me, I'm the complete opposite. I don't trust. No, I'm sorry. I trust easily. I just don't thrust easily. But
But I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I think that's good though, because only people who are deserving of your thrust will get it. So look at it like that. If we're
These
looking
are
at it from
powerful
that way.
pumps. Only a few can handle. Andrew being one of them. Actually, he might be the only one who can handle it.
Yeah, exactly. I've survived this far. So how long has it been? Almost 5 years. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, our problems, from what I can tell, our problems don't extend to the bedroom, which is good.
Maybe we should keep it that way. No.
Yeah, no, please. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, I know. Um, so yeah. All right. So kind of what is what has your journey sort of have been like so far, Mazer?
Well, for one, it's been crazy because I think, if I was to be completely honest, I've been moving a lot since the beginning of 2018.
All right.
Like, I first moved apartments, and it was a very tiny move. And this was still when I was in college. It was in my senior year, and me and my roommate decided that we wanted to switch apartments because the one we were living in was really run down and. So we moved across the street in literally one day. We moved all our stuff one day. It was like 6 inches of snow on the ground, super cold. My shoes had holes in them, so on the inside, my feet were wet and cold. But we chugged along. We moved everything in one day.
That's
And
impressive.
yeah, and what's more impressive is that we basically conned our landlady out of her final payment.
Wait, I didn't know about this. What?
Yeah, well, no, I shouldn't say we conned her. I think she was we got in a pretty major disagreement with our landlady, and she had agreed that we would only pay for the month of December halfway because both of us weren't even there for like 15 days. So she's like, "Yeah, I'll prorate you guys." But then we came back. We found there was a major leak in our apartment,
Oh,
and his room was the one that had the leak. So a lot of his things got damaged. And so he's like, "Hey, look, there's a major leak. A lot of my stuff got damaged, and I'd like you to take care of it." And she wouldn't. She was beating around the bush, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll take care of it when the snow clears up." And
oh, like most landlords do. But yeah,
yeah, like you can't do any roofing in the winter, which is understandable. I mean, I get
yeah,
that, but at the same time, by the time the snow clears up, the problem wouldn't even exist, and then you just say, "Oh yeah, well, the problem doesn't even exist. I don't know what to fix." So it's like you were stalling basically. She was stalling basically, and we were like, "You know what? Screw this. We're gonna just start hunting for another apartment." And we did, and in the midst of that, she was like, "You know what? You guys are being a real pain in the ass. I'm gonna charge you for the other 15 days." And we're like, "What? We agreed that we wouldn't have to do that. Like we wouldn't have
yeah.
to pay for the whole month of December." And so we were pretty mad at her. She was pretty fed up with us, and
But yeah,
we found a place, and we said, it, we're just gonna pack our shit and get out of here, and we'll leave the keys at her doorstep, and she wouldn't know a thing. Like we were in and out, done.
that's ridiculous, right there, man. I mean, fucking landlords, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean and the worst part is, they always try and screw over the college students that are already pretty poor and
Right.
not
Like
eating.
you had holes in your shoes for crying out loud. All right. Holes
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's like, dude. I don't know. I mean, I remember my landlord because we lived down the street from each other. Funny
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. We were
No,
pretty
that was
close.
senior year, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So for a long time, we weren't. We were living in the same community. We were living in Little Italy in Cleveland, but
Yeah.
then you ended up moving down the street from me.
Right. Yeah. But even so, I still didn't see you much though because that school kept you busy
Oh
beyond
yeah,
belief,
I mean
man.
the two of us barely
That
made
was
time for sex, but
but
you know
in between classes though, we made it count.
we did. Yeah, we had the janitor's closet.
Remember that one time in the refrigerator? Oh, that was
The
hot.
dining table was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
But just to but no to kind of talk about what you were saying with your landlord or whatever. I mean, well, I remember it was my sophomore or my junior year. I had a really really great landlord. He was actually a lawyer, so it's like he took things very very he took things very seriously. And like I never had any issues with him at all. Like one time my apartment got fleas, and he had it taken care of within a matter of like a week. It was like in a matter of days. He sent someone over, and it was fine. But my senior year, I had my landlord, he wasn't that good. He was a bit of a lazy, son of a. And he because like we had vermin in our house, or because it was like a house that was turned into an apartment, as was the case with many of the quote unquote apartments over in Little Italy. But yeah, no, he was like, we had camel crickets. All right, yeah,
Oh,
have you
I don't
ever
know
have
what
you
those
seen
are, but
those?
they sound terrible.
Oh, they look like demons. All right, so basically, imagine a shrimp, like a shrimp that's however, a shrimp that's standing up with the legs of a wolf spider and
Oh
like
God.
long antennae, and it's the grossest thing ever. And they jump too. Like they don't bite apparently, but they're the creepiest looking thing ever. Like I don't mind spider. I don't mind spiders. All right, spiders are okay, but these things are like little shits from hell, and they jump too. So it's like if you miss, they'll jump at you, and it's frightening. So we for a good couple of months we had an infestation of those. Like I found them in my shoes. I found them on the side. Like I found them crawling up my wall next to my bed, and
Ugh.
it was awful. And like literally, I set a tape trap underneath my kitchen sink, or not my kitchen, my bathroom sink, because they were coming up from the basement. And in the course of a week, I had like 10 or 15 just on like one tape trap already. And the up thing is they eat each other. Like
Oh.
I did a bunch of research because I was trying to figure out how to get rid of these things. Basically, what I found out is there's a relationship between camel crickets and mice. All right, so camel crickets will eat, or mice will eat camel crickets, but camel crickets will eat mice droppings.
Oh Lord.
So it's like, so you can imagine how unsurprised I was when after that monthly period of after we've quote unquote killed them, I found a mouse in my room.
So not only did you have a camel cricket problem, but you also had a mice infestation, which is funny because we had that too.
Oh, really?
We had a couple of mice. We set up traps for them too, and we never really caught one, but
Yeah.
definitely found a dead mouse under our stove, and they would come from behind the stove. There was a hole in the wall,
Yeah.
but and this is the old apartment. This is not the new one. But the funny thing is, okay, here's the funny thing. So we moved out of that apartment, right, and we went
Yeah.
across the street to a new one. New one was really nice. It didn't have it lacked character because it wasn't. I used to get the best sunsets at my old
Oh.
apartment, and I had this triptych window in my room. It was really nice. And then we moved to this new apartment, which was on the bottom floor, and we didn't really get the sun coming in, and not a lot of natural light. But the inside was really nice. The kitchen was really nice, and the funny thing is, we spent one night there, and then a leak developed in the bathroom of the new apartment,
Oh my goodness.
and it got worse. The whole
Yeah.
part of the ceiling collapsed
Oh.
in the bathroom, and at that point, I was just frustrated, and I lost my shit. And oh my god! So yeah, like that's when I started moving at the beginning of 2018, and since then that was my first jump, one apartment to
Yeah.
the next, and then after that, college is over. I moved back to Pittsburgh. That's where I'm from. Moved back to Pittsburgh for a little while, and then I went to India for like 2 months.
Oh,
Came
cool.
back from India. That's where I'm originally from, by the way. But came back from India after vacationing for 2 months. Lived in Pittsburgh for another 7 or 8 months, and then I moved out in May of 2019 and went to Texas. Was there for 3 months, and then moved from Texas to California. And I've been here for about 2 or 2.5 months. So, yeah, my journey's been really crazy. I've just been jumping and jumping and jumping from one location to the next, spending a few months here and a few months there. But yeah, that's what my trajectory's been. So, what about yours? How's your life been after college?
Oh God. All right. So, well, first off, I wanted to comment though. That sounds actually really really cool though. Like, I mean, I've I just wanted to comment on traveling because we did a little bit of traveling in college. That one time when we drove up to Michigan.
Oh yeah,
Um, and was there another time that we traveled somewhere?
we
I don't
did the
remember.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Oh,
but
we
that
did the
was
Rock Hall, but oh, and then we did that one haunted house too. But anyway,
oh yeah,
no,
that
I was
was
just
with Ian.
yeah, that was cool.
Oh, I don't know if you
Oh,
can.
but speaking of which, he also has a podcast. So
Yeah,
if
go check out our
you're,
friend Ian.
I think it's called Mind Rise, I believe. Or
Yes, I think that sounds right.
yeah, Mind Rise with Ian Philo. Go check it out. But yeah, no, I learned though that I really really enjoy traveling. So hearing you talk about like moving from place to place, that actually sounds really really cool. Like I really wish I could have had like looking at where I'm at right now, I really wish I could have had an opportunity like that. But whatever. So yeah, so my wait a minute. Okay, so currently right now my okay so basically I've spent my whole life in Cleveland. After college, my parents were gracious enough to allow me just to live at home until I got myself together and off the ground because steep student loans and difficulties getting a job and crap like that. So I've been chilling for the most for the most part. I mean, I'm dealing a lot with motivation to like get stuff done because that was like that was something I learned my last year of college, how important it is to stay motivated within your projects that you're trying to do. Because my what I really want to do with my life is I really want to be I want to be a musician, a rock musician that travels and everything like that. Because I sincerely I love performing. I love playing music. I love all of that. It really really sets my quality of life like high. Like I don't have I have no worries in the world that I'm doing it. The only issue though is that is a really really it's a difficult sort of career to get into because you're basically what I've learned is you basically have to do every single thing, like every single thing, like that a manager would have to do, but for yourself, and you're learning it up around along the way, especially if you don't have a lot of money. Because right now I'm very, very, I'm very, very broke. Because college loans are kicking my kicking my ass. So I'd say that it's okay. So let me digress a little bit. All right. After college, I picked up a job that was actually right down the street from the Cleveland Institute of Art, and I was doing a media. I'm a media specialist there, where I film lectures and other sorts of like educational projects that can be used within the educational community among the professors and the students. So I've been was doing that, and I'm still doing that right now. And then on the side, I've just been working my ass off with my music, between recording, writing, performing, and then of course managing too. All of this just within Cleveland, you know, and and yeah, I'd say that I've learned. I'm continuing to learn how important it is to stay motivated with all this work stuff. Like I kind of said earlier, my the album that my band, the Screaming Eagles, has been working hard on. It's like our first album, and we actually went into a recording studio, recorded like I'd say 8/10 of it live, and then the rest of it we just did like any sort of overdubs we did actually at my buddy's house, because he's kind of turned it into a studio, and it's really really cool. So I guess I could say that I've really really been working on how to manage, how to manage myself, how to manage other projects, how to kind of, I don't know. It's been I'll just say it almost feels like it's been kind of like a large learning experience, but a very fruitful one too.
That's really good to hear. I mean, and honestly,
Yeah.
that is one of the biggest things that anyone can learn is learning how to manage not just themselves, but whatever their vision is for what they want to do. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I find myself still learning, and I think that's the thing. Is you never stop learning. You kind of, I think the best way to say it is that when you're doing what you love, whatever it is, whether it's making music or
Yeah.
designing cars or motorcycles or any kind of artistic creative thing, or starting your own business, when you're doing something you're passionate about and it gets you up in the morning, then you'll learn and you'll push yourself to be motivated. You'll learn and push yourself to manage yourself and manage the vision that you have. So it's good to
Right.
hear that you're still cranking away at it. And
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. The student loans are kicking my ass too.
Yeah.
But
Like, I mean, wait. What was I going to say? Damn it. And then the other thing that I've developed is memory loss. I'm losing my mind now, where like I forget everything now. But yeah, no, and it is really, I think that's the most important thing for a lot of people, is to be able to find something in life that excites them. Because when you even if it doesn't pay a lot, because I mean, I think collectively in my entire career as a musician, I think from several years, I think I've been paid a total of probably $500 to $600, and that's just that's the entirety of like over the course of since I started doing this when I was 16. All right, it doesn't pay a lot at all by any means at first, but you have to keep working at it, and you have to find some way to fund that, which is because I mean, honestly, if I could work on music all day every day, I would love to do that. It's just right now I have to make sure I have enough money for myself to pay for all sorts of things, because I'd like to move out at some point, and I'd like to move out of Cleveland too. One of my long-term goals is in fact to go to LA, but I realized to do that you got to be making some good cash. So we'll see.
I'll go ahead and just say this, but the stories that I've heard ever since I moved out of Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
from people that are already here, is a lot of them have simply just one day decided that they're going to make the move.
Yeah.
Without really a plan, I shouldn't say without any plan, but you always have to have a little bit of a plan figured out and what you're going to do. But I think at some point you have to just put your foot down and say, you know what, I have to get out of here.
True.
Or, whatever it is that you want to do, you have to just sort of put your foot down. And that's what I would say to you, man, is that if you really want to get out of Cleveland, you really want to come out to LA and start making some music, I'd say look for a gig out on the West Coast. Do what you're doing now at Case.
Oh yeah.
In, I don't know, UCLA.
Right.
Because you have a skill set that you can utilize, which is photography and videography.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't want this to turn into like some sort of a preachy, advice session. But
dude, it's honestly, most people, advice is advice as far as I'm concerned, and I think it's something that people should take more often. This is great because, dude, I don't know what the I'm doing with my life. I mean, I do, but I don't. So it's like, what's up? No, keep talking, bro.
I'm serious. Yeah, like I don't really know how to word this, but because I'm a brother for you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna be a little hard. And I'm gonna say, listen, do it,
Yeah.
do it. I mean, find a gig out in LA. Do what you're doing in Cleveland. Out here, I know that it's a major step to take, but and I don't know what the logistics of it is. You know, like you may have to leave a lot of things behind.
Oh, well, immediately the first thing I thought, you know, if I move, I'd have to leave behind the band. And
And that's scary.
well, no, it's not scary. It's not smart. I'll be honest with you. I think that's the one thing that's holding me back right now. Only because, you know, because I'll put it like this. There's a lot of times that, I mean, the group of guys that I'm working with right now, you don't find groups of guys like this because nobody hates each other within the group. Like everybody is very much of the same soul and mind, kind of when it comes to like just music in general. You know, and they're motivated to do stuff. They're motivated to make music and to actually make it in the long run. I think that. Well, I do definitely hear and understand what you're saying about, you know,
Well, I don't think you have to leave the band.
Wait, what was that?
I don't think you have to leave the band. I think because your album is coming out, I think you know you could treat it as a promotional thing.
Oh, like,
So one of you comes out here, and then maybe eventually all four of you, or how many band members do you have?
oh, we've got 4 people right now. I mean, that would be a perfect situation if all of us could, you know,
Relocate.
go
Yeah.
down there. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about taking a trip. We've talked about taking a trip in the past, around the West Coast and everything like that. Just because we know there are opportunities out there.
Definitely.
And I mean, and that's the thing, and it would be a great promotional piece because I mean, of course, we want to start touring too. Like you know, we've you know, one of the great things would be to start touring around you know, around our areas first, like, you know, because we've like, you know, you've got Cleveland, Columbus, but then, you know, go to like Detroit because we've gotten a little bit of we've got some interest from some people and bands in Detroit, which is great because you know the more the merrier. So I guess I think what I'm trying to say is we kind of want to trying and see what we can do around the states that are around us right now before we go
For
out
sure.
there. But you know, I mean, and it's just it's constant. I mean, you know, as our record is, or our album is about to be released and everything like that, but we've already started working on the next album because it's like
Yeah.
you got in this business you have, especially in like rock and roll, because rock and roll is, you know, slowly becoming such like a dead craft, which sucks, but you'd have to release at least one record each year to really keep up with it. And if you're doing really well, you could release 2 records in a year, one at the beginning and one at the end, you know, just because you have to build up a large enough catalog of music so that, you know, I look at it like this: the more music you have out there, the more of a chance you have of somebody seeing it and enjoying it, and you know, and then that can take you wherever, because literally all it takes nowadays is you just need to have the right person send the right, or you got to have the right person find the right video and share it, and before you know it,
You're right.
you know. And
Speaking
I know
of the video,
wait, what was that?
sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I was just saying, speaking of the video, Screaming Eagles just released a video on Get Ready. Is that the name of the song?
Oh no, Are You Ready? Yeah,
Are You
we
Ready?
did. We released a music video. Yeah, shout out to Jared Michael Sabatka. That dude's kick ass. All right, he's the guy who directed it. Awesome guy.
I don't know who Jared is, but Jared, you did a phenomenal job of shooting that video. It's
He actually went to CIA.
oh, he did.
Yeah, he was in a he was a video major too, or a photo video track major also. He was a senior when I was a sophomore.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know who Jared is. Well, first of all, congratulations on graduating out of CIA.
Oh, you too, brother.
Thank you. And congratulations to Jared.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was done phenomenally. I mean, I love the video. It was color graded so nicely. It was shot so really. It was a good video. That's all I got to say about that. So
Thank
if you
you.
haven't checked it out, guys, go check out the video that Screaming Eagles just released called
Are You Ready? The Screaming Eagles, Are You Ready? It was it was a single that we recorded and released, and it's on it's also on Spotify. It's on SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, and something else. What's
YouTube?
it called? Oh yeah, of course it's on YouTube. But what was it? Bandcamp too. Bandcamp is the other place where it's at, and that's where we're going to release most of our stuff.
Stuff.
But wait, what were we saying?
Video. Speaking of video, I derailed you. Ah,
It's okay. That's not the first time, if you know what I mean. You guys can't see it, but I'm winking at the camera.
and you guys can't see it, but I'm blushing at the camera.
Yeah, you are. Sexy. All right, anyway. Before this turned into a weird ASMR sex thing,
Yeah.
let's move along now,
Although there's
shall we?
nothing, I'm sure viewers would definitely, listeners, I should say, not viewers, would definitely be.
Well,
into
they
that.
could turn into viewers if it becomes a sex thing, but
We could start dirty talking to each other. I don't think that's a problem.
oh no, I mean we do it anyway, so it's
Yeah.
like, but we just have to get really close to the mic and just make like noises and all that shit. But
Yeah, the rustling of the clothes. Anyway,
you know
okay.
the worst part about that is that we actually. If we did do an ASMR channel, the worst part is it actually probably would take off.
You know, I believe you.
A lot of people are really, really into that sort of shit. We would just have to be, I don't know, two male models whisper to you to go to sleep or and whatever.
or the meditation videos. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like we told them you are now approaching the white light. Close your eyes and count to 10 and breathe deep. No more tears. Speaking of which, no more tears. Ozzy Osbourne just announced a tour with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not going to see it because I don't like Marilyn Manson.
Oh well, I like Ozzy.
I do too. I mean, Crazy Train was. I heard Crazy Train, and that's one of those songs that was like, oh, I need to learn how to play guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Because I mean, just that guitar.
You know, for me,
solo.
it was Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Aha! All right. See, Ozzy inspires. Ozzy is just.
Ozzy is the way to go.
And I think the first like rock kind of song that I learned, like at least rhythm for, was "Paranoid" by Black Sabbath.
Ah,
I mean,
nice.
Good. Just that opening riff is just so fucking sick. That
Oh yeah.
and it's one of those things where once you actually like sit down and start to learn how to do it, it ends up being a lot easier than it sounds on the record, because you hear that, you like when you hear that without context, you're just like, oh my god, how did he do that? That's insane. Then you sit down and do it yourself. You're like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Like a lot of the songs that are really big hits are not super complicated to play. I mean, like AC/DC's "Highway to Hell" was probably the first song I learned to play,
That's cool.
and it was like it's only 3 chords. That's all it is.
Yeah. Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, that's 3 chords right there. And those are all power chords, not even like the open chords, which everybody, cuts their fingers over,
Right. Well, the bar chords are the most. I refrained from playing bar chords for the longest time until I became proficient enough to start barring the whole chord. Like
Yeah. Wait, have you been have you been playing like recently, man?
Unfortunately, no, because when I left Pittsburgh, I decided I was going to travel light, so I didn't.
Oh, I feel you. Right.
I didn't bring any. I didn't bring a guitar. I didn't bring my amplifier. I didn't bring any of that stuff.
See, that's the only thing I would have brought, my guitar.
Yeah, well, exactly. I should have done it. Now I'm kicking myself over it because I go to work, I come home, and then I just don't do anything. I just sit in front of the TV like an old man. eating a
Oh yeah.
microwave dinner. And I'm like, well, I could have been making music. I could have been whatever. I could have been doing that kind of stuff too, having another creative outlet. So, but what I've recently picked up, well, I shouldn't say recently, but for the past year, I've been trying to write. That's
Oh,
become my thing.
cool. Like stories or like
Like
cool.
fiction writing, narrative writing, like
Sweet.
10-page stories, 10-page short stories. In fact, I started one last night, and
Oh, cool.
I want you to be the first one to read it
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, no,
because I
send
think
me
you would
that.
love it. I think the trajectory it's taking right now, you'd love it.
Send that to me right away, man. I'll check it. I'll check it out, give you an honest review, and I'll be like, all right,
Yeah,
let's
please, I'd
make
love
this a
that.
bestseller.
No, seriously, I'd love to. I'd love for you to read it. But let me. I've barely written a page. That's the thing about writing is that it's so freaking difficult to just sit down
Oh
and
yeah.
crank away at it.
Yeah. I
And,
mean,
go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, well, I don't know. I mean, because I write too, but in a different sense. I mean, well, I'm with like actual words and stuff. Like, I do a lot. I've done a lot of lyric writing, and it is difficult to like kind of sit down and just make art or make art that's I guess that you as an art that you yourself would consider good enough. It's just it's just a challenge, especially if it's like in an area that, because like writing and like and language and stuff like that. I mean, it's not really something that I would consider like something I have an interest in. It's just more or less something I feel like I have to do to get to where I want to be. Because I mean, who writes a song? I mean, who writes a song without lyrics besides like Tool or anyone else? But
Yeah.
Tool's a great band, and they know how to how to like sort of navigate that sort of genre of jam music.
Oh yeah, Tool is just it's on a different level.
Yeah.
I mean, the complexity in their song. Anyway, we're not going to start
Oh
talking
yeah.
about that. But yeah. I mean, you're right. It's so difficult to do because it's not my first form of art, if you will. Like that's not
Oh
where I
yeah.
began. I started with painting. I started with putting color on canvas,
And
and
you, by the way, are just you're. I mean, I remember your paintings from freshman year, dude. I was like, part of me was sad when I found out you were going into ID because I just looked at your paint. I looked at your paintings and I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like these things are incredible. Like honestly, if you can find any of Mazur's paintings anywhere on the internet, check them out because they're great. I love them a lot. Like
thank you. No, thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate that a lot. And you're not the first one to say that. A lot of people are like, "How the hell did you end up in ID? You
right.
should have been a painter." And I'm like, "Yeah, well,
You would have
you
been
got
an
to get paid,
incredible.
man."
That no that and that is true though. I mean, I do understand it like that because you do need you do got to pay the bills. I do feel it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of your stuff. I mean, a lot of your stuff. It has this museum like quality to it. Like, I mean, you could. I mean, I'd buy one of your not because I know you, but like I would. I mean, I'm an honest person. If I thought if I thought if this isn't something I'd want to hang up in my home, I wouldn't want it. But maybe someday I'll offer you a fair price for one of your paintings when I have
You know
money.
what? You
Because
can just have it. You can just
no,
have one of
no,
my
no, no, no,
paintings.
no, no. I'm going to buy it because time went into that shit, and
No, I do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
yeah,
In fact, I'd like to get back into painting. I'm
you
just waiting
should.
to. You're right. I should. I don't have a guitar, but I do. I can always run and get some paints, some cheap paints from I don't know Walmart. Support
Yeah.
local capitalism.
Right. Well, challenge yourself though, because I think sometimes I find that as an artist, sometimes like making things more difficult for yourself. So funny enough, can sometimes actually really test your ability. Like if you're using like cheap from like Walmart or whatever
Oh
to
yeah.
try and make something really incredible. It's like the same thing as if you have like for me like with cheap guitars and cheap amplifiers and you're sitting there tinkering with it for hours to get like a great sort of sound or whatever. I think it really it's really a test for your own ability as an artist. So I mean,
Definitely.
I'd say go for it, dude, because I would be very curious to see what kind of stuff you would come up with.
You know what? I'll take you up on that. I already actually have some paint sitting with me.
Yeah.
I have a canvas. I'm gonna try and like turn a little corner of my room into a little studio. Just maybe make a painting. Just see what comes out.
Right on, dude.
I think it'll be
I
fun.
mean, if it's what like, you know, what your soul was kind of connected to at one point or another, because I mean, you know, painting is can be such like an expression, an expressive like art form. I mean, as can any, but like, you know, it's connected to your soul. You know, your soul can oftentimes show up on the canvas if it is, you know, what it is. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. I mean, if you're really feeling some type of way to the point where it's driving you to create marks on a piece of paper in whatever fashion or form, that means something. That it's it's I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's really great that you want to get back into it and get back into that, because it's like, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm going to keep applying this to music because that's I mean, I've tried so many different art forms in my life. You know, I tried drawing. I even did a little bit of painting for a while. You know, I've tried photography, I've tried video, but honestly, nothing. I can't express myself any better way than through music, like with a guitar. That's just, you know, right there. But it's that notion of extending your soul that I think makes things so, you know, what makes it so important. So good on you. Really good on you.
No, thank you. Yeah, I honestly I think yeah you're right. You know, it really is. Uh, you know, a way to express because you know there's writers who write and they're very good with words and some of the best writers I know have no issues talking about you know their feelings
Right.
because they're so good with words and you know and we as people as a majority have a very difficult in fact I was just having a conversation with one of my cousins and we were talking about how difficult it is to sometimes talk to other people about having conversations that aren't small talk that aren't like hey how's your day going
Oh
it's more
yeah.
on the level of you know what do you know if it's for example relationship you know having that conversation of what the other person is or is not doing right or how the future is going to work out for the two of them you know
Yeah.
those kinds of conversations that have a lot of gray zone tend to be very difficult to you know even begin you don't know where to start
Oh yeah.
and some of these art forms like writing and you know they allow for saying things like you know saying the simplest thing like I'm angry at you
Yeah.
but in such an elaborate and poetic way that you know it really comes across as it's powerful and you know writing is one of those things painting is one of those things in fact I was having a conversation not too long ago with another friend about the difference between well how art has evolved how it went from being subjective and it went from being subjective to being more or I'm sorry it went from being objective to more subjective where you know when back in the day like Renaissance time period people were painting on canvas what they were able to see in front of their eyes whether
Right.
it was still life a scenery whatever you know and then you know it evolved to becoming more on the lines of experience like what do you feel when you see this painting when you see a Rothko it's like you know what I'm talking about when I say Rothko right
Yeah.
yeah like when you look at a Rothko most people don't know how to feel when they look at it, or they don't know what it means because they're looking for something. Like, what is that?
Right.
But those who get it will just stand at a distance and look at it and be like, yeah, it makes me feel a certain way, and that's exactly what it's meant to do. So you're right. I don't think that's a cliche thing to say at all. Is that you know all these art forms are are an extension of your soul, are an
Yeah.
extension of how you feel and how you show the world how you feel. Because it's sometimes very difficult to act a certain way, and it's very difficult to say certain things in the
Yeah.
real world. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I actually I find myself as I'm getting older, finding sort of more of surprising. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's surprising, but I find myself finding it more difficult to say things now as I'm getting older, which I'm not really sure why. And I never used to really be like that. And it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of a little bit frightening because I see how some people can kind of. And I see too often how a lot of people will close themselves off, from like just most social situations, just because I mean, just because it's like easier, or if you feel more comfortable or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's like I'm trying like, I almost find myself trying really hard to pull myself out of that, which is, I don't know. For me, it's a little bit concerning, but only because it's not a way I used to be. One thing I've always used to say or tell people was that, in order to accomplish things or get anything done, is you have to get out of your comfort zone. Because, think about it in the terms of like, growing pains, like when you were growing up and your leg would hurt for no reason or something like that. I mean, it's because you're growing, and making that connection. I was able to say, like, I was able to figure out, it's like, no, if you do want to grow and actually really want to grow, you're going to have to let yourself be uncomfortable. And it's almost one of those things where it's like, I almost I have to take my own advice, but it's difficult to do sometimes.
You're right. You're right. It's easy to tell other people how to be and give them advice, but it's hard to practice what you preach.
Yeah, it can be, especially if it's something that you don't give much thought to, or I don't know. I mean, I guess the moral here is that we're all still learning. I'm still learning about the world, or how other people perceive the world, because I think that's an important thing too, as far as when you're growing up, is you have to open yourself up to look at how other people can perceive the world, because then that right there will give you a better understanding, just even as an individual, kind of about what to do. I know that seems a little bit like open-ended, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is really, we're all trying to figure out what to do,
Oh
You
yeah,
feel me?
I'm feeling it. I'm
Yeah.
feeling it. I know what you mean. Like there's people that don't know what they're doing and they're okay with that, and there's some people that are doing a lot of things and not okay with that. Like
Yeah.
you can be in too many places at once, and in essence, you're nowhere. And sometimes you can be nowhere and be totally okay with it.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I'm beginning to find out is it really, honestly, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as, well, it doesn't matter what you do. You don't want to go around killing people.
Right.
You don't want to be that. But
There's enough of that shit in the world today. We don't need.
yeah, no, fuck that. But what I mean is, like, there's a pressure on, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and say this, but I think there's a lot of pressure on this generation that
Oh yeah.
people call millennials to
Mhm.
be a certain way and do certain things. And I mean, I guess it could be said for any generation, but you know, we're the generation that feels like we're being scrutinized a little bit too much,
Yeah.
when in fact, and I think those parents that get it understand that life wasn't nearly as stressful for them growing up. Going to
Yeah.
college wasn't nearly as stressful for them. Coming out of college wasn't nearly as stressful for them.
Oh, definitely not.
Those who get it, but those who don't get it are like,
Close-minded.
yeah, for one they are, and then
Yeah.
two, it's like, it's difficult to share your story. Well, not in the literal sense,
Hmm.
because nowadays it is pretty pretty easy to share your story when you have all the social media platforms.
I mean,
But
literally, they have something on Instagram called the story. So,
no, yeah,
and then I know way too many people that are way too comfortable with sharing their story. So,
oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that too, which is another rabbit hole we can go down on. But
oh, we'll touch on that on another episode, definitely,
oh
because
yeah,
I've got a lot of strong feelings about Instagram, social media, and all that other. I mean, I like it, but I think there's also certain parts of it that people have run away with and have turned it into something awful.
yeah. You're right. I think there's definitely it's evolved into something that I don't think it was meant to be, which is kind of frustrating for me as well. But yeah, like there's just a lot of scrutinizing going on kids our age and even a little bit older.
Yeah.
So y'all boomers need to back off.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer.
I'm gonna make shirts that have "Okay Boomer" on there, and we'll see how long that takes until it becomes socially unacceptable to wear that.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, "Okay Boomer." Just put it up on there, just like a shirt. It just says "Okay Boomer" on there. I don't know.
Boomer is it's just so much. I wish the Gen Y that we call millennials had a cool name like that. Boomer.
No, we're just called millennials or Gen Y because nobody gives it. I don't know.
Millennials just sounds like it's such a doesn't even roll off the tongue. The boomer.
I think of the Millennium Falcon from like Star Wars when they say that.
Well, yeah, true that. Millennium
it's,
Falcon. The Solos. Could we call ourselves the Solos?
I don't know. I think that has a different connotation on certain adult websites. Or it could be a different connotation within the musical community. I do solos all the time in that
You
case.
yeah, you do solos.
Yeah, I do.
You do
we all do.
I do.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops.
What an interesting phrase. Everybody poops. And then you really sit down and think about it.
Women don't poop.
Oh yeah, what are you talking about? They don't fart or nothing.
No.
Mazur, you're such a sexist. Oh my God.
No,
We're gonna come after you and your job and okay, before I get too heated.
Heated.
Oh I'm heated.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. If you use that over like nothing, over like little shit.
I want to start using that. Just like, oh my God, I am heated.
I'm so heated. There's no hope for you if you're using that sort of language over like little shit that. All right.
What are you so heated about?
I don't know. Maybe it's 90 degree. Well, wait, no, that's the other thing. Wait, quick question. How warm is it by you right now, man?
Oh, it's nice. The sun's out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? What's like temperature out there and whatnot?
Oh, let's see. I want to say probably in the 70s.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love the 70s.
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now. It is. Oh no, it's actually 57 right now.
57? Holy shit.
Yeah. But by 3 p.m. it's going to be 70.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, usually, I'm in Santa Cruz, but usually it starts out cold in the morning, sometimes even cloudy. Cloudy and foggy, because I'm right by the beach. So you'll have a fairly, it's lightly foggy, but yeah, you'll have fog in the morning, and then the fog clears up and the temperature rises, and then right around 5 o'clock, 5:30, the temperature starts to dip again. So you'll have days where it'll be like 70, 80, and then it'll dip like 20 degrees at night.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of cool, actually. I don't know why. I think it sounds cool to me because it's so different than how it is here. Because literally right now, I mean, we're recovering from our first snowfall right now, and the snow is melting a little bit. I think it's like somewhere between like 40 or 30 outside or something like that. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's cold again. It's good old Cleveland. Them good old Cleveland winters.
Good old Midwestern snowy days.
Oh, God.
No, I hear you. I don't miss it. I don't miss the snow.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. All right.
Yeah.
Like literally right as it started snowing and getting cold, my car started to have issues. So I'm like, oh great, okay. So now not only do I have to dig my car out, that's not working. I now gotta, get the damn thing fixed.
Oh, yeah, this is my first winter. Well, actually, so this year has been my first summer and winter away from the East Coast, and I'm pretty grateful for that because I don't have to clean the snow off my car. In
Oh,
fact,
that's
I don't even
nice.
have to bottom. I don't even have to worry about the bottom rusting out from the salt and the snow.
Oh yeah, that's right. That oh, I'm waiting for my car to get rusted out because it already has a rust issue. Like, oh god,
I
yeah,
mean, mine
no.
mine too because it's from Pittsburgh and it was used in the East Coast for a while. But
But still, at least you'll have a chance of preserving it a little bit, you know?
oh yeah, no, yeah, oh man, I feel sorry. I'm sorry. I want you
Yeah,
to
me
get out of
too.
there. I want you to come out to LA, and I want you to
You
I
gonna
want you to
take
be a
care of
rock
me in
star.
Santa Cruz, baby? You gonna let me live
You
with
know
you?
I will.
I
You
know,
know I
yeah.
will.
You take care of me.
Gonna be pizza every night. It's gonna be pizza and wine every night.
Piece of this. Yeah, you're
Pizza
right.
this ass. Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
All right.
seriously, come out to LA sooner than later because
No,
yo, it's a fun town. I've been. So here's the thing. I
yeah. What's
have
up?
when I was in when I was in Texas, I went to visit Austin, and Austin is a fun town.
Right.
It totally lives up to the hype. I mean, seriously, such a fun town. Weather's great. It
Everyone's
gets
told
really
me
hot.
it's great. I said everyone's told everyone who I've ever or everyone has always told me that it's such a great place to go.
Oh
Good
yeah,
punk scene too, from what also.
great punk scene.
Yeah.
Well, just music in general. I mean, like there's a great music scene there.
Yeah.
Whatever you're into, there's a great art scene there.
Oh, cool.
There's great food. I mean, it's like a mini LA.
That's cool. Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that. That's
It's
cool.
it's that's the way I saw it. And most people
Yeah.
won't describe it like that, but I don't know.
But no,
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting perspective though, because LA is so LA, and then like
and there's
that
Austin.
that's cool. Yeah.
I mean, and I think Austin is probably one of the places to be right now because a lot of tech companies are moving out there. A lot of there's a big influx of population coming out of California into Texas. A lot of
Really?
people, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So
Because
is
California,
Texas the new California?
well, I hope not because California is hella expensive, and I think that's part of the reason. Well, that's probably the major reason
Oh,
why people are moving out. Lack of
yeah.
space, cost of living is very high.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Earthquakes and wildfires are not helping the situation. People are like, "See ya." They're bouncing
Yeah.
out of Cali. They're going to Texas. Texas. I mean, while I was there was so much land, empty space. It was just the roads are wide. You know, you don't think too much about driving carefully. You just kind of drive, which is a downside because we got some pretty crazy drivers out there.
Oh, I can imagine.
But you know, it's Texas is a fun town, fun state, I should say, not a town. Yeah. And then
Cool.
there's LA. You know, LA is well, apparently two. No, that's two people in China that got the Black Plague. Did
Wait,
you hear about that?
what?
Yeah,
No. The plague is still a thing.
yeah. Apparently, two people in China got the Black Plague. If I'm not wrong, I think it's in China, but I know that in LA right now there's a typhoid scare.
Oh God.
But that's because LA's LA. There's a lot of unsanitary issues there. There's a lot of homelessness. There's a big homelessness. But the city's, you know, it's LA, man.
Did those people die from the
You know,
black
I haven't
plague?
followed up on that story. I should probably look into that. But apparently,
Because I mean,
the bubonic plague is still a thing, and two people
well,
just
yeah.
got it.
Well, someone told I was told once. I don't know why that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I was always told that the bubonic plague was very similar to the common cold or something like that. But then the reason why it ended up being so bad back then, like in the Middle Ages, was because there weren't like vaccinations and like and just medicine to like help protect against it.
You know, I
So
haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. It's like in some way the bubonic plague was related to the common cold. That's what I had heard, or I don't know.
People are just a bunch of
It might be
back
wrong.
then.
I don't know anything sometimes. So, but I just
People are
that's
just
just the
weak ass little pussies back then.
No,
couldn't
yeah,
handle their
definitely.
freaking cold. That's all. That's all it was.
So instead, they just conquered everything to help kind of feel all right about being pathetic,
Yeah,
little shits.
whatever. Little weak asses.
Right.
Couldn't handle a little sniffle.
Well then.
That turned into a rather. What
Or
do you
rather
call it?
what?
A rather. I don't know. Racy. Was it? Was it racy? That was pretty racy.
Dicey.
Dicey.
Or
Racy.
risque,
Dicey.
or risque. 'Cause
Risque, that's the
doesn't
one I like.
racy involve race?
No, I think racy just. Well, maybe, but I think racy to me is just like it's just a little. You're
It's
making
a
some
little bit like,
risky
whoa
comments here.
there. Whoa, bucko.
Yeah, yeah,
I see-
yeah.
I
It's
see
like
what
a
you're
risky.
doing
I
there.
think risque is the word.
Risque.
Risque.
I never was good at rolling my R's like that.
But you just did it. You just did it.
No, I didn't do it well. I always feel like Well, here's the thing: when you're talking to somebody that's a native like Spanish speaker, you're like, and then they just naturally roll their R's, and you're like, oh wow, that's impressive. And
That's
then you
sexy.
try, yeah, you know, and then you try and do it yourself, and you're just like,
What'd
oh,
that tongue
God,
do?
I'll show you.
You know, they say that Venezuelan Spanish is deemed as the the sexiest Spanish. Well, I think the sexiest language in the world.
I mean, I can believe that. If it's a bunch of old white guys that made that list, I can definitely see that.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
but I mean, I it wouldn't surprise me, honestly. I mean, it's very interesting when you're talking about the different dialects or maybe I don't know if it's dialects, but the different Spanish accents that are happening within South America between, you know, for instance, you know, Argentina, not Brazil because they speak Portuguese there. Venezuela, like you were just saying, Chile, and yeah, all sorts of interesting sort of like inflections and stuff. Personally, for me, I'm more of a fan of the Argentine dialect.
Argentinian dialect. Yeah.
Argentinian the dialect.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever the proper terminology is, but hey.
Because they know how to roll their R's really really well.
Yeah, they do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they do.
I just never knew how to. I don't know. Maybe I'll learn how to do it. Maybe I'll learn how to do it properly one day, but we'll see.
I think you will.
Really?
I think you will.
Then I'll do it. Then I'll do it solely just for you, baby.
Maybe we'll think about it.
Maybe. No.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
We'll think
We'll do
about
it. I'll make sure we do that.
What'd that mouth do?
I'll show you. All right, we're going off the rails here.
Yeah, should
we call it? Should we
say
close the curtain on this wonderfully
Opening
exciting and informative podcast? My bro.
I think yeah. I think so. I think I'm because if we keep talking, we're just gonna start making sexual jokes.
I know it's gonna turn into you know. It's gonna turn to that we were talking about earlier. You know, it'll show
We
up
just
on
can't help it with
Pornhub.
it. Yeah, we just can't help it with each other.
Podcast turns into
Sex session.
sex session, right? ASMR sex session, right?
Cesspool.
All right then, yeah. So I think if you've made it this far and like what you hear, we want to thank you for tuning in to this. We'll have another episode out next week. You've been tuning into what we like to call Bromo Sapiens. We hope you have a wonderful day. I've been Drew.
And I've been Maz. Maserati,
And,
whatever you want to call.
Wait, what was that?
I said Maz or Maserati, whatever you want to call me. But
Ooh,
anyway.
Maserati. Yeah.
Take me for a ride.
I'll give you a ride, all right. So yeah, no. We'll be back next time, and we hope you guys are too. Go guys and gals, because you know, God. All right. Cheers.
All right, bye-bye.